Now, calm returns to the streets of Sri Lanka's commercial capital, Colombo, this day after unprecedented protests on the streets. The protesters, they were jubilant as President Gotabaya Rajapaksa agreed to resign after his house was stormed amid outrage over the South Asian nation's collapsing economy. Now, President Rajapaksa says he would step down on the 13th of July. The development came after tens of thousands of demonstrators rocked the island nation, bringing the country to a complete standstill. Sri Lanka's parliamentary speaker said on Saturday that President Gotabaya Rajapaksa had decided to step down, bowing to public pressure.
I personally informed the President about the decisions made at the party leaders' meeting today. He agreed to implement those decisions. Also, he informed me and asked me to tell the country that he will resign on July 13th to ensure a peaceful handover of power. Therefore, there is no need to destabilize the country any longer.
Meanwhile, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has reportedly fled after protesters stormed into his residence. Angry demonstrators holding Sri Lankan flags broke into the presidential secretariat. The protesters were first surrounded the secretariat. They then clashed with the police and forcibly made their way into the president's house. Now, the country is currently witnessing one of the largest anti-government demonstrations in recent days. Anger among the people has been rising for months. It reached its peak yesterday. Demonstrators also stormed Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe's private residence in Colombo to voice their anger, following which the house was set on fire. Wickremesinghe has also offered to resign, however, on one condition, that an all-party government is formed prior to his departure.
මම ජනාධිපතිතුමා යෝජනා කරේ සර්ව පාක්ෂික ආණ්ඩුවක් ඇති කරන්න. අද මේ රටේ ඉන්ධන ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම ආහාර හිඟයක් තියෙනවා. මේ සඳහා ආහාර වැඩසටහනේ ප්‍රධානිය ලංකාවට එනවා. IMF සංවිධානයේ සමග වැදගත් කරුණු කීපයක් සාකච්ඡා කරන්න තියෙනවා. ඒ නිසා මේ ආණ්ඩුව ඉවත් වුණාම වෙන ආණ්ඩුවක් එවලෙම අපි පත් කරන්න උවමනයි. රටේ ආණ්ඩු පාලනයක් නැතුව ආණ්ඩුවක් නැතුව මේ අවස්ථාවේදී ගෙනියන එක වැරද්දක්. ඉතින් මේ ආණ්ඩුව මම යලිත් කියනවා මේ ආණ්ඩුව ඉවත් වෙනකොට තව අලුත් ආණ්ඩුවක් තියෙන්න ඕනේ.
Now, reports also suggested that 2 Sri Lankan ministers have also resigned from their posts following the protest. Sri Lanka is facing its worst financial meltdown since its independence, with months of frequent power outages, acute shortage of food, fuel, medicines, other basic necessities. The crisis has hit majority of the common households. Foreign exchange reserves have dropped exponentially, and practically with no money, the government had to seek help from its allies and the IMF to keep the country afloat. However, despite some crucial attempts to revive the economy and shift of power within the government, nothing significant has been achieved so far. The country, which saw massive demonstrations yesterday, is now slowly returning to normal, and our correspondent Dasuni Athauda, who is tracing all the latest developments straight from the ground, has sent us this report from outside Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe's residence. Let's listen in.
I am currently outside the private residence of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, and what you see right behind me is the main checkpoint that once used to guard this high security residence, which has now been completely dismantled and destroyed by those who took over this specific residence last night and set the whole property ablaze. The fire has been put out by what we see so far. There is some smoke that continues to rise from this building. Media personnel and security are currently on site trying to assess and take stock of what exactly transpired last night. From what we know so far, 3 individuals have been arrested in light of what took place here yesterday for setting ablaze this high security property, which is also the private residence of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Keep in mind that this took place even after the Prime Minister, towards the late evening hours of yesterday, expressed his interest to resign and step down from his post of Prime Minister following a dramatic and chaotic day here in Sri Lanka.
Now, for more on this, we were also earlier joined by Dr. W.A. Abeywardena from Colombo. He is a former Deputy Governor, Central Bank of Sri Lanka. Let's listen in.
Yesterday is the culmination of the protest campaign that had been started about, say, 3 months ago. So the culmination was that the protesters had been able to storm the president's house and also the president's office and occupy it. But it does not mean that none of the political or economic problems in Sri Lanka have been solved, because the president, even though he has promised that he would step down, he has not done so far. And of course, he has communicated it not in person but through the speaker. Therefore, there is a doubt that, whether it is the president who has, made that announcement. Then Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe's offer of resignation is also doubtful, because in the past, he had been notorious for making false promises of stepping down but not doing so. So until both the two leaders, the president and the prime minister, have actually tendered their resignation, step down, the country will not be able to move forward. So even though Prime Minister says that there should be a government, there is no government right now. And therefore, it is a matter for the country to set up a government as quickly as possible so that the country can continue forward.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.